Show me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here, and this week I don't have a movie review, I don't have a trailer reaction, a tier list. I suppose if anything I have a topic of discussion, something that's been going on recently that I felt the need, the want, the desire to discuss. Not that I have any answers for it or anything. If anything, I really just want to talk about it to stir up discussion. I want to get people talking about it. I want to get some people talking in the comments about it. Maybe later on down the road, have some guests on here to give this discussion a bit more depth. But that is, it seems that China has begun heavily blacklisting actors, whether they be, you know, your standard film, TV, drama actors, or your favorite kung fu fighters. Now, over the past few months, it seems that China has sort of cracked down on sort of this an internet culture, a fandom culture that in America and in most of the Western world we're very much into. You know, I'm all over the internet for Star Wars or comic book stuff or wrestling, martial arts movies. You know, we get in these comment sections, whether they be on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and we talk about our favorite actors, our favorite characters. We go into deep depth discussions of them. This is something that China sort of sees as a cultish goings on, and they're trying to crack down on that. They've cracked down on a lot of websites, a lot of groups online, clubs, fan clubs, and sort of just cracked down on it and said no more of this discussion. You're rotting your brains away. And you know, to some degree, sure. To some degree, you know, the idea of, because one thing I saw is they cracked down on like the idea of like looking at two different celebrities and saying like who's hotter, like that's like a toxic thing, and it is, you know, sure. But to crack down on these fan groups, these fan clubs, these groups of people who just want to discuss things that they love, to crack down on that and say you're participating in something that is altogether evil, that I don't, you know, agree with, and I think most of you can probably be on my side about something like that. But this goes even further than just the internet, them cracking down on websites and saying no more of this. This comes down to your favorite actors, your favorite movies, people that you enjoy seeing on the big screen, and China's government, who runs their film industry, pretty much saying no more. This whole thing sort of began with an actress named Zhao Wei. That name may not be super familiar to you. She was in, what am I blanking on the name of this? Shaolin Soccer, and she was Mulan, I believe, in Mulan Rise of the Warrior, which, from everything I've heard, I would like to watch it at some point. It is the most faithful adaptation of the poem and legend of Mulan. It seems that she was made an example of, in terms of, like, they wiped her from the database. They erased her name from credits, from anything she's ever been involved in. If you go on the internet in China and you look up the cast of Shaolin Soccer, you will not see Zhao Wei. You will not see anything she has produced, anything she has starred in. Her name has been scrubbed from all of those things, and it seems that a lot of stars who also have social media accounts in China have also, like, deleted pictures and untagged her from anything that she's in. She has been made the example of as to what can happen to somebody. The reason that it happened to her was supposedly because she was buddy-buddy with Jack Ma, who, Jack Ma is this Chinese billionaire who made actually a really cool 30-minute kung fu short film a few years ago with a bunch of your favorite martial artists, Tony Jaa, Wu Jing, Donnie Yen, Jet Li, a couple other people. He said some stuff against the Chinese government, against their financial industry. Ever since then, last year, he's been like radio silent. They have clearly told him to shut up. And her being friends with him has gotten her blacklisted, made an example of. The other recent things that we have seen is you have somebody like Nicholas T, Nicholas Che, Nicholas Tay. I never remember how to pronounce his name. His events have been based around the fact that he had dual citizenship. This shows that China is cracking down on people who possibly even have just passports to other countries, people who have dual citizenship in other nations. What happened with him is he, I believe, had a citizenship in Canada, and he recently renounced that citizenship and is pretty much just full Chinese at this point, I suppose. This possibly came under some sort of threat to him. Nicholas T, I'm going to keep pronouncing his name, is one of my very favorites in the past few decades. I loved him in Invisible Target, Shaolin, New Police Story. He's great in so many things. Stool Pigeon. He's got his upcoming movie. I say upcoming, it's already out in theaters, but I can't get it anywhere near me. Raging Fire. Pretty sure that's right. With Donnie Yen. And then that sort of made me think, what about Donnie Yen? I know Donnie Yen was pretty much an American citizen. He'd lived here ever since he was 11. Apparently he renounced his citizenship in 2009, so I suppose he's somewhat safe, although I don't know if anyone's safe. We'll see how that goes. A shortlist was produced that apparently included a few actors. This isn't a list from the government itself. This is a list from somebody else in the industry about who could potentially be on watch, be next in terms of this Chinese film industry blacklist. The list, from what I've seen, from everything I've been able to find online, has not come out. The list, two people that, of course, the list I've heard are on the list are Jackie Chan and Jet Li. Now, Jackie Chan, I've got to imagine, is safe. You know, he is the son of Hong Kong. You know, he got his notoriety, his fame, his rise from Hong Kong, and in the past few years, over the past decade, he has moreover changed allegiance over to China for certain reasons that I'm not going to supposedly go into. He is just fully backing, like, pro-Chinese government. China rules, China's amazing, and sure, more power to him, whatever, I guess. For this, though, Hong Kong hates him. He was the biggest star in the world, but if you went to Hong Kong in the 80s and 90s and you brought up Jackie Chan, they loved Jackie Chan. He was their hero. But if you brought up Jackie Chan now, you're not going to get that same reception. During a lot of the Hong Kong protests against the Chinese government that is sort of getting more power in Hong Kong, unfortunately, Jackie pretty much told, like, Hong Kong protesters to calm down, to stand down, and to accept it. And pretty justifiably so, Hong Kong citizens told Jackie Chan to f*** off. Can't blame him. But Jackie Chan is so pro-China that I can't imagine he would be on any blacklist. I don't see that happening. But the other person that I have seen mentioned is on the list is Jet Li. Now that one is far more believable. Jet Li also has a citizenship in Singapore. Yes, he was born in Beijing and was part of the Beijing Wushu team. Pretty sure he's been born in Beijing. That sounds right. And he is Chinese. And when you think of Chinese Kung Fu stars, or if you think of Kung Fu stars at all, I'm pretty sure one of the first three people you're going to mention is Jet Li. But Jet Li does live most of the time, from what I know, in Singapore. And I don't see him really spending that much time in China these days. I don't see that happening in my mind of Jet Li. Jet Li is such a humanitarian that I just see him spending his time in Singapore and trying to get a bunch of humanitarian work done, and not really going back to China to do any China things too often, whatever that means in your head. So if anybody is probably actually on that short list that I have heard rumored, it would be Jet Li. And if I had to imagine Jet Li's feelings about that, I don't think Jet Li would care. I think Jet Li could be told, you're blacklisted from the industry, you're never making another movie in China again. Jet Li has been pretty much retired for the most part. I know he's in Mulan, he's in the Expendables movies, he's in a very few movies within the last decade. I did that, it's essential Jet Li video, and so many of his movies take place in the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and all of a sudden the 2010s happen and he's dark. Because he doesn't want to. He's pretty much done. He's pretty much retired. So if he's told you're never making another movie in China ever again, oh, also maybe never come back to China ever again, I think I could see Jet Li being like, yeah, it's fine. Cool. I don't wanna. So that one I could see and I don't really feel bad about. But this does have me worried about other people. What about someone like Andy On, who is an American citizen? His wife, Jessica, last name I can't remember. I think I looked up, I thought she was Chinese, but I think she was born in Chicago. So both Andy On and his wife are U.S. citizens. Andy On is an amazing actor and amazing martial artist, but he doesn't get his work in America. He gets his work in China and Hong Kong. You have someone like Philip Ung, who I think is also American, who again gets his work in Hong Kong. Like, he's got a few American films, Birth of the Dragon and stuff like that, but if you watch a Philip Ung movie, most of the time it's going to be a Hong Kong film. China already doesn't really make kung fu movies. I don't know. I mean, clearly they're getting far more power in Hong Kong. The last real Hong Kong action movie we saw was Undercover Punch and Gun, which starred both Andy On and Philip Ung. They pretty much got that movie under the radar and got it out there as sort of a more old school Hong Kong action movie, but those don't happen anymore. So I wonder what will happen with guys like that. Are they going to just go live in America and try to get more Hollywood work? Or are they going to renounce their U.S. citizens? I don't even know if they are Chinese citizens. But I suppose if they told China, hey, we're going to renounce our U.S. citizenship and just come be Chinese citizens, I wonder, I feel like China would probably be like, you're damn right you are. Get in line. It's just curious. I'm just curious. I don't have answers. I don't expect anybody to have answers. I just want discussion. Because I'm curious. I'm curious where it's going to go. I'm curious where it's leading. I'm curious what other people think. Because not a lot of people are really talking about it. You know, this video is probably pretty dumb and pointless, so I don't have an answer for any of this stuff. But I don't have an answer for any of this stuff. I'm really just curious for a lot of my favorite kung fu actors. And you know, the last, I don't know, China doesn't make kung fu movies anymore. I've said that in a lot of videos. The last kung fu movies from China were like Shaolin in 2011, Once Upon a Time in Shanghai in 2014. I think 2014 or 2013 was also Wrath of Vajra. Those are all great movies. But name a kung fu movie that wasn't Ip Man related. You know, you even get Master Z, Ip Man Legacy. Like, sure, you got Paradox, but meh. Stuff like that. You've got something like Unity of Heroes, but Unity of Heroes is so watered down with CGI and shaky camera work that it's not a kung fu movie. It's a movie about kung fu people. It's a movie about kung fu fighters, but it's not a kung fu movie. It's just a bummer. We don't live in a time where there are good, nice kung fu movies anymore. You don't go to China for kung fu movies. You don't go to China for martial arts movies much anymore unless they involve Donnie Yen or in some way about the Ip Man series. Max Zhang is great. Max Zhang, for some reason, still gets to do some pretty decent stuff. We don't go to China for martial arts movies anymore. We go to Thailand, we go to Indonesia, we go to South Korea, we go to indie films starring Scott Adkins or Michael Jai White or any other people, you know. We go to so many other countries, so many other places, so many sources for martial arts movies when in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 90s, the early 2000s, China was the place to be. Hong Kong, mostly, really Hong Kong. It was Hong Kong. Hong Kong was the place to be, but China still has some good stuff. And it's gone. And it's definitely, it's not coming back. And if anything, it's just drifting further away with stuff like this. Nicholas T, in my mind, is a horrible sign of things to come. It just sounds scary. Nicholas T renounced his Canadian citizenship, and he's going to stay in China. He's going to keep making movies in China. But maybe not all actors are going to think that way. They'll say, well, I've got a citizenship in France. I'm just going to go to France. I don't know, you know. I'm just genuinely curious. Curiosity is the word of the day for this. I want to know what's going to happen because I have no idea. Again, this probably feels like a pointless video of like just discussing this but not having any answer for it, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what's going to happen going forward. But at the end of the day, I'm just curious. I want discussion about this. I'm thinking about trying to have Sean on sometime from Food for Thought, and possibly getting a third party, possibly Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. I thought about getting us all to just have a three-way discussion about this and try to understand what is a possible future for Chinese action movies, Chinese kung fu movies, because right now I am lost. I don't know. But what do you think of this whole situation, this whole scenario? Where do you think it's headed? What do you think of what's happened so far? You know, I'm sure my telling of what's happened is not completely accurate, but based off the research I've been able to do, that's what I've been able to find out. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there's the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak, Tristan_Glover on the Twitter, and Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Next week, try to lighten things up a bit more. Next week, I think I'm going to do part 3 of the tier list for Jackie Chan movies. I don't think I'm going to have Sean on for that. I don't want to waste his time with some movies that he probably doesn't want to watch, like Robin B. Hood or The Spy Next Door. Because I'm gonna need him for a few other videos if I decide to do like a Sammo Hung or something like that, or a Gordon Liu, or some other classic kung fu stars that have some older movies that I haven't seen. I would need his help for that, so I don't want to waste his time with some other movies that he doesn't want to watch, because I didn't want to watch them either, but I did. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.